Hello, and welcome to another edition of One Bad Veggies Root Beer Review, where in this review, we go ahead and travel to New Jersey by way of Brooklyn, New York, because it's technically bottled in New York now. So this review is Boylan's, or as it says on the bottle, Boylan, even though I believe that the company is Boylan's, it's Boylan Root Beer, right? Boylan, not like boiling, but like Boylan. Anyway, none of that matters. So originally this root beer was created in New Jersey by what was his name? William Boylan. And well, no, not the root beer. I should say that the Boylan Company was started in New Jersey as a birch beer company, actually. And as far as I can tell, just from the description and stuff, it would be a pretty early case of birch beer as a thing, and back before it was even called birch beer, and it was made in an apothecary, which I thought was just made up for D&D, but uh, no. And then apparently over time, the original owners of the company sold it to another company in New York. And they turned it into just a whole soda company, root beers, ginger beers, cream sodas, kind of the normal stuff that you'd see bottled and stuff and sold in stores. So the actual Boylan company itself has been around since like the late 1800s, and like I said, has expanded and so on and so forth. So yeah, this is their root beer. Like I said, it's not really, a lot of these companies usually are known specifically, like they got into like the root beer, I don't know how you put it, like the root beer, like that's how they usually start their companies, is by creating root beers and stuff like that, because they're kind of like an old school kind of drink. I think it's interesting that this one starts with birch beer, which is also a older sort of drink, but maybe not as famous as like root beer and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and just get into the ingredients. Let's take a look at the ingredients, which should be appearing right here. And man, I don't, there's not a whole lot to say about these ingredients. I mean, carbonated water, cane sugar, sodium benzoate, caramel color. I mean, these are like the staples of probably soda in general, not just root beer, but just soda at this point. It's pretty crazy. So nothing remarkable, nothing to look at or anything. Let's go ahead and just take a look at the bottle. And as you can see, very simple. I like a classy, simple looking bottle. I do like, you can see it here, embroidering, I guess you would say, the Boylan Bottling Company. I like that. Does give it a little bit more class. Almost kind of has that same sort of not quite as extreme, but almost the champagne bottle kind of like look that the Johnny Ryan had last week. Yeah, no, it's as far as just like the bottling and everything goes, I think it's very nice looking. But there's not really a whole lot to say about it. Like I said, it just looks classy. I like a classy looking bottle. Otherwise there's not a whole lot to talk about, just as far as it gives me the same almost sort of vibes as the Johnny Ryan bottle did, but the Johnny Ryan bottle looks like kind of like late 50s, early 60s. This looks I don't know, it's a weird mixture of modern and like early, like kind of 1900s, just bold letters, kind of marketing sort of thing. But yeah, I like it. I like the bottle. I mean, yay, I like the bottle. But yeah, ingredients wise and stuff, it's hard to say what we're really looking at here, because it's not very descriptive, and natural and artificial flavors could literally mean anything. The word is anything. So let's go ahead and just go into the let's crack it open and sniff it and stuff. You know how this works. All right, let's go ahead and crack it open. Although this one literally, let's see if you can see there. Back it up a little bit. Back up a little bit. It says twist off, but I have my doubts. I always have my doubts. Let's go ahead and try though. Hey, didn't need to crack it open that time. My strong manly hands worked for once. All right, let's go ahead and take a sniff. Holy cow. It's like smelling an entire bag of licorice, like black licorice. That was insane. Hold on, I didn't mention before, and I should have, that this is a re-review. I've done this one before. I am curious what I gave it as a letter grade now at this point, because I do not enjoy that. I do not enjoy that. I cannot remember the last time I gave an F, and this is, if I was to judge it just on the scent alone, I'd give it an instant F, because I don't like the overuse of anise in root beer. Now, the thing is, to be fair, on their website, they do claim that they use a more classic formula, closer to the 1800s recipe than maybe something more modern, which, you know, of course, is a weird thing to say because you literally can't have sassafras in it. But I do find that kind of the more the root beer tries to be a classical flavor, the more almost fruity and herbally and spice centric the brew becomes. So I think this is just another case of that. Very curious to see how it tastes at this point, even though I've had it before. I don't really remember because that was 10 years ago at this point that I reviewed it in the past. So, yeah, let's go ahead and let's check the pour in the foam. And here we are with the effervescent, trusty mug. Let's go ahead and crack it back open and see how this thing looks. There's a fizz, but there's no actual foam. That's super interesting. I find that very interesting because a lot of times, I'm gonna go ahead and move the camera back here. A lot of times with root beers, they don't fizz a lot. There's carbonation, but it doesn't fizz like that. Like maybe like a Barks or something like that. I've seen maybe have like a more fizz to it, but no, usually you just get a tall, you know, sometimes it's tall, sometimes it's short, but usually you just get a nice foam on it. This one literally has like no foam at all, but a lot of fizz, and that's super unique, I guess I would say, for a bottled root beer like that. But yeah, not a whole lot more to say about that. It's hard to, you know, say anything about whether or not something has a nice foamy head to it when there isn't one and no ability to taste it. I mean, literally, I mean, you guys saw it. There was nothing. There was nothing there. And nope, nothing there. So, all right, let's go ahead and what do we do next? Get into the taste test. So before we actually do the taste test, there's something I actually kind of want to point out here. If you can see, now usually when we do the foam part, the foam usually gets tall enough that you can see where the ice from it being chilled, the root beer being chilled, or the glass being chilled, stops, and you can usually see a little bit of foam. Like the foam was so not there that the ice didn't even completely get a chance to melt. So I just think that's a interesting look. Anyway, thumbs up. I don't know what to say. This is awful. I I have nothing much more to say other than that. Yeah, I mean, I do have more to say other than that. It's nasty. I don't like even bad root beers, you know, that I've had in the past and stuff. You know, even stuff that I've probably given Fs to in the past, I can usually say something positive about it. I can say this positive about it. It is sweet. It is sweet. It, to me, I mean, you can say a couple things about it. You can say it tastes like drinking liquid licorice. It tastes like medicine. I, I do not recall having this negative of a reaction to this one. In fact, I was kind of looking forward to trying this one again because in my mind, I specifically have a good memory of this root beer. Not a negative one for sure, because a lot of the ones that I have given an F to in the past on the old blog and stuff, I remember those. You remember the bad ones. You know what I mean? You remember, don't ever get that again because it's disgusting. But yeah, this is not good. And before I give it a letter grade, I think I'm going to go back and read my old review to see what I said about it. And the only thing I can think of is maybe they've just changed the flavor in the past. Like I said, 10 years. That's a long time. A lot of root beers, I can tell you right now, have changed. I mean, even when I was reviewing 10 years ago, IBC went from using high fructose corn syrup to using cane sugar, which actually made IBC quite a bit better than it used to be. This is I don't know how else to describe it. Like it doesn't even really even taste like a root beer. And I know, like I said on the website, they in their history section they claim that, oh well, it's supposed to taste more like how it would have tasted back in the late 1800s or whenever they first started making root beer. But like I said, you know, if that were true, I would think that it would maybe taste more like a sassafras than it would taste like a root beer. But this doesn't even taste like that. It tastes like it tastes like someone didn't know how to make a sarsaparilla right and like put in the wrong mixture of ingredients. But it barely tastes. I mean, technically it's root beer because it says on the bottle, but it doesn't taste like I said, it tastes like medicine. And it even leaves like a medicine-y kind of background, like aftertaste and everything. Because usually, at least like sometimes even when you have like a bad root beer like this, at least you usually get something on the but what the flavor that you smell, flavor that you taste, and the flavor in the aftertaste are all the same. It's just like I said, it's fruity almost. You know, sometimes I describe that flavor as a rooty or a fruity flavor, and this is that. Just that is the whole flavor. There's nothing else really there, and I mean, guess the letter grade, guys. But so let's go ahead and get into the letter grade. So I did look up my old review for this one, and originally I had given it a decent grade. I'd given it a C. And my old review even says, which I'll link in the description of this video. The original review says that some good, some bad. It's hard to rate this one. I'm going with the C because while it's pretty well balanced, the anise still makes the drink not as delicious as it could be if it was just taken down a notch. So in other words, at the time, it still probably tastes like a root beer, but it probably just had a little bit too much anise and everything. Something else that's kind of interesting as I did a little bit more research too is I found that maybe within the last 5 years or so that people have said that the flavor of Boylan's has changed into something not as good as it used to be. So I didn't know if that was just kind of like a a bias sort of thing, but this is people who drink it regular, people who actually have it ordered and brought to their house and stuff like that, because you can do that on their website and through restaurants and stuff like that. But anyway, point is that clearly at some point within the last few years, they did change the formula in some way that most people seem to have a negative reaction to. And like I said, my review was from 10 years ago. At the time, like I said, it was probably, leaned on the anise a little bit, but obviously did not make me outright be like, this is disgusting. And I gave it a C. This is an F. This is an F. Whatever they did to this root beer has made it an F. It is, in my opinion, it might be the worst root beer that I've ever had. It might be, in its current form. I do not like it at all. It is just not good. And it's hard to say a lot more other than that. I feel like in the taste test, I kind of described the flavors and everything. Somebody might love that. You know what I mean? Like, I obviously there's a lot of people out there that just like licorice, so I imagine that having something that's almost kind of like a licorice-y drink would probably, maybe they'd really enjoy that. But I do not. I don't like licorice. I don't like the flavor of licorice. And this is like I said, this is like drinking liquid licorice in almost like a medicine style flavor of it. I don't know. I mean, I literally do not. I don't know what else to say about it. It's so gross. I feel bad. I almost feel bad with this review because it's so negative. I don't really do super negative reviews. Usually with root beers, you usually land in a C, because most root beers, like even with their differences and stuff like that, still kind of taste similar to each other, right? You know what I mean? But man, oh man, this one really kind of breaks my heart. So yeah, F. Yes, there is a green screen hanging behind my head there because I use it while I'm dungeon mastering D&D games, because I'm that cool. But yeah, that's it for this one. And nothing really in the news or anything like that to talk about. So I guess that's it. I don't really have, I mean, this is number 98, then the next one's 99, and the next one's 100, and then it goes past that because I still have a ton of root beers that I need to review. So I keep on talking about 100 like it's going to be a big deal. It's not going to be a big deal. I mean, I mean, you'll see. It's cool. Anyway, that's it for this one, and I hope you had a good time.